Yeah, you don't see one of these every day. AOR AR5001D, just having a play on HF. And that's Jeff VK4 GJP.
So other than being short of breath, I hope you're well otherwise, Kerry.
Beautiful receiver.
Give me a call. What actually happens is, boys,
so much to learn on this receiver.
A solid state amplifier, not one that a kit. I've been tempted to make a kit, but I thought, oh, I haven't got time for that. I'll support my fellow Australian hams.
Just seeing how the signal's coming up.
The AMP is building some really nice professionally made amplifiers. So I've ordered one of those for my birthday, so I can still keep plenty of signal going up the valley. But it'll do a kilowatt, but as I said, 350 is enough usually. But to make room, it's fairly physically large.
Quite
so
I'm just actually listening to the quality of the signal, and I've got that up fairly loud. Just listening to the quality of the signal. I'm not running an external speaker or anything on this at the moment. Have a look at the meter movement over here too. You know, you're actually measuring in dB. S meter reading. This when you move the squelch position, your squelch is actually coming back in minus levels, 30 dB, etc. It'll cut out. Yeah, there we go. So we can cut Jeff out about minus 82 dB. Very professional, these things. We're listening on a 3K filter at the moment. It's good to hear Jeff on there too. He's a good old mate of mine. I just thought we'll use his audio for a second. A lot of features to learn about this thing, no question. Let me show you the box and everything. Hang on. So basically, the manual's never been actually opened. It's sat in here, as you can see. It's just brand new. The AR5001D. Always wanted to have a play with. I've got a bit of AOR gear. The 5001D is one that's been a bit unknown to me in some respects because it's not one you see very often. Don't mind my mess here at the moment. Let's have a look. Go back over here. Now, we're not getting the other station too well there because I think they're down in Victoria possibly, so they may be too close to us. But there was another station called in just then. See even your AF level. Yeah, love the screen. Now, it does have a spectrum scan as well. I haven't even played with any of this yet. Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got to really think this through. No. No, I'm going to have to actually read a manual on this one. But yes, it has a full spectrum scope built into it. And yeah, I might have to take a break for a split second and just work out how that works. Hang on. Sorry, it was simple. Hold the scope, the function button, hold it in for a couple of seconds. But as you can see, we're looking at the signal there that's it's on 7135. We can see anything to the side of it. And we're doing a 1 meg span, as you can see there. But see, I initially actually bought this fella, the STU5500, because I thought, oh, I'll put it with one of the 5,000 units, etc. Not thinking about the 5001D at the time, and so this already has a spectrum scope in it. And I think even though you can change the IF on the STU5500, I think I sort of prefer what they're doing here. This is actually quite a nice all-in-one box solution. Yeah, signal's down there a fair bit at the moment. But as you can see, yeah, it comes back to that lovely scope there. And that's nice because, you can pretty much have a bit of a look around the band. There we go, hang on. Someone was around here somewhere. Oh no, I just caught the end of it. Now I'm just running on a 40 metre dipole at the moment, so the right antenna for this band, so it's, oh, there we go. Back here to Jeff.
And I used to use it to do the broadcast with WRA or 160 metres AF.
Okay, and you can sort of see Jeff's signal. These signals are not overly strong at the moment, so
I sold that amp, it's 35 years old. I put one set of tubes in it for 35
it's an impressive unit.
I did have to fix
It's one where this is going to be a shorter video because I'm going to need to go away and have a real good play and learn a lot about it. There's just so many features, you know, that you sort of wonder about. And oh, okay, so AGC there. I thought that was, but anyway, that'd be AGC slow there. Sorry, yep. So what's the? Get off that one. Hit clear. Yeah, it's, as you can see, there's going to be a bit of learning going on here. So is that actually no? That's. Offset, no, that's what I was hitting before and I was mucking up, thinking Spectrum, but no. Scope ended up being over there. Oh my goodness, there's a lot to learn on this. Now keep in mind, these units go, and this is where I don't get totally the good usage out of this. I'll turn that down a bit. I don't get the best usage out of it because these things go up to 3 gig and they do it at a commercial level, you know, and that's where this is a bit of a waste for me in some respects. I don't know, you know, whether this will stay here forever, and I'll be honest about that because it's. I've just bought my dream receiver, which I couldn't believe the timing. The ICR9500, which, of course, me being an Icom guy, I was really pleased to be able to get one. By the same token, just the timing I got wrong in buying this almost new AOR AR5001D, but I still want to have a good play with this because, and who knows, it might stick around for longer than I'm saying, but certainly, you know, if you have interest in one of these, sing out because the 9500, which is a big beast and same sort of size as the 7850, and actually I bought another 7850 as well, long story, but that was the way that the deal was designed to get the 9500, but you know, I'm probably more somebody who's going to use a unit on HF than I am VHF, UHF up in the country. This unit excels on HF, no question. I can see that straight away. By the same token, it excels also getting up into up to 3 gigs and has some amazing abilities that now the boys are saying goodbye. Oh, there you go, Jeff. Bit of hearing yourself on an AOR AR5001D. Now, I don't think there's any preamp level or anything there going on there. That is what you see is what you get.
Next time we have a chat, I'll rave on for hours about my upgraded off-grid solar power station, which is.
Oh, he's done a lot of work on that. That's actually, I know a bit about that. And if we go function, we go back to just big frequency readout. So very easy operation. Once I worked it out, I thought, oh, that was a bit simple. And it did say scope right there, so it wasn't like it was too difficult.
Exactly. Well done, gee. I'll be able to sleep at night.
Now the other thing too that I dug up in my mess, let me find it. Now the boys have gone clear here, so that's be able to keep the noise down a bit. Me trying to talk amongst that, it wasn't the best. Yeah, I found, so this little AS5000 gives you antenna 1, 3 and 4. Now I know that sounds a bit strange. Where's antenna 2? Antenna 2, how did it work out? This goes into antenna 1. That's right. So that goes into antenna 1. Antenna 2, of course, remains the separate output on the back here. So yes, understand. So there's 2 outputs there. And how are they doing that? So antenna 1 remains antenna 1. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, of course. So antenna 1 is basically just a feed through. Then it gives you an extra antenna 3 and antenna 4, giving you an extra 2 antenna ports off this unit. And the reason that can be quite nice is that if you're mucking around with this thing and you are, let's get out of this for a second. Okay, and let's change our step rating to something a bit like we can just run around the place a lot faster. Whoops. 100 kilohertz will do it. Do we want it? No, actually, let's go. We want to really move around, so 500 kilohertz. Enter. Right, so, yeah, beautiful. So, as you'll see, we're on antenna 2 here at the moment, but you can program to go back to antenna 1 on different areas. Then you'll be able to, when you plug that box in, you'll be able to program to go to. So the idea being that how this was set up is that there were 2 antennas set up, one that was primarily VHF, UHF and high, very high HF sort of areas, and then there was an antenna set up for the lower bands, etc. So and yes, so when we plug that little box in and confirm a few things, then we're not going to hear much at the moment because we're on the wrong antenna port. Let me fix that for a second. Right, I physically changed the antenna over just so I'm not changing the settings at the moment. I'm just going to leave it how it was. But now we're not on an antenna that's any good. Now I've got to be a bit careful here with any music commercial stuff that comes up. But let's just go down a bit here. So that, and this is the thing, is that now we're picking up data around the northeast of Victoria here. We're going to pick up various things. And this is where, when you've got such a high quality receiver, you really want to get it just going up, and some different antennas that can cover some of the broad frequency, because you can really go start searching and having a bit of a play with what's out there. And there's a lot of rubbish out there, to be honest. Loads of stuff that you're not going to be impressed by. But now, as I come through here, I've got to be careful because they're commercial stations. So I'll leave it on sideband for the moment, so we don't actually have a situation where we're copyrighted. Now, I wonder if any of the see that don't really see. Once again, this is why this receiver up here. If you lived in Melbourne, you'd be getting all the narrowcast stations here on FM, and you'd be hearing stacks and stacks of Chinese stations and Greek radio stations, etc. Where we are just picking up a lot of spurious stuff here that is just, some of it's coming out of my own shack, I'm sure, etc, etc. But see, once again, probably the main aim of this was just to show you, watch how far this thing goes. It just keeps going, and all the way up to 3000. Goes up further. I think it's 3300. But we're really getting into some real microwave areas. Sort of. I wonder if we can. Yeah, good point. I'm just seeing some of the Spectrum Wi-Fi stuff and whether or not it's going to. Now, I suppose the other thing you could do there with the receiver like this is do this and say, right, is there anything in that 1 meg spectrum, although 1 meg's not going to, you need to be able to change that a little bit to make it very useful, especially when we're at this sort of spectrum area. I'm just seeing if there's anything locally in the shack here. Yeah, there is, around here. This is, right, so this is my Wi-Fi that's coming up around the shack here somewhere. Yeah, not overly strong, is it really? But then again, I suppose it's not going to be. See, this is all the stuff that we'll never use. That suddenly, if I go back to 28.49, let's say, and we're going to go enter there. Here we are. All right. So now we're at 28.490, and we're obviously getting a bit of noise there too. A bit of noise on the band there today. And where is there noise blanking on this thing? It'd be interesting to see just how well that worked. I'm sort of holding my camera in the way a little bit. There's quite a few menu modes and different bits that you can get into on the AOR as well, and that'll be also... now don't laugh at this, the other place where there might actually be... Oh, hang on, I'm on the lower sideband too, so... Mode. So let's go. Look at all the modes on this thing. We want upper sideband there. Oh, hang on. And then we want to hit enter. So now we're on upper sideband on 490 on a 3K filter. Bands are a bit dead on 10 meters, so we're not going to hear a lot there today, unfortunately. But I know this sounds terrible, but let me try this. You never know what this band's doing. And what am I trying to do here? Enter. Oh, hang on, there might be some mode. So we want to change that. Where are we? Lower sideband. And then we hit enter. Oh, there's a little bit of activity there. See, once again, so we're now operating, when I come back here, off antenna 1. Now, when I head down under 27 odd megs, it'll go back to antenna 2, so I'll need to change back. So let's say we go to 14 megs. Straight away, I need to change that antenna over or change the antenna function. I've got to be honest, I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong. I'll have to have a look, because when you go function antenna, it's not actually allowing me to go to antenna 1, so I'm not actually sure, and that was my reasoning of having to just quickly swap this fella over, because I hadn't worked out. It's called read the manual. I'm doing something wrong. Sorry, let me just pause it for a sec. Let's just go over to 20 meters and put the opti beam on, see if there's much happening. Won't hear much there on lower sideband. Why don't we try upper sideband? It's better. Oh, I'm getting faster on this already. Good. There's 20 meters going. Pretty quiet. Where are we pointing? Over the US. Yeah, and our band's very quiet at the moment. Not a lot happening, but of course, if we were to go down and start saying, well, let's have a listen to some AM commercial, that's going to work equally well around that area. So if we were to go AM and then turn that volume down a little bit, and then we start just sort of saying, well, let's go down a bit, we'll probably find something. So I should have went probably up. Oh yeah. What about around about 8 megs actually? That's 80 megs. Duh. Now this antenna, I'm just actually having a debate in my head as to whether we might be better to go back over to another antenna. Just trying to see what we're getting commercial wise. Yeah, hang on. Let's we're a mess in here at the moment, but let's just see. Let's go back over to this one here. I just have a feeling, especially if we go down towards 7, that'll get better. See what's around. It's the wrong time of day for commercial stuff, and some of the stuff I'm trying to hear definitely of an evening. What was that? Now see, this is where I possibly should be bringing this in here and saying, right, you know, where along this line are we seeing anything that's a bit interesting? Something down there, hang on. Yes, there is. What's that line right there? It sounds like data. I don't know. See, soon we'll be back to the ham part of the band. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get... Actually think we're going to get more. Whoops. Lower sideband. And enter. And actually what I'll do is come down to... There's some bigger signals here. Oh, some slow scan. I thought it was strong. And see, we can, yep, we can decode that, come off the data port quite easily. Well, there we go. So people are still doing slow scan. Good to see. But not much else, actually. Slow scan being the big peak at the moment. Oh, hang on. Someone was there.
That's the bottom of the page. Okay, so Charlie, Lehman Delta, go ahead, over. Good morning, Tony. You are 5x5. Up name Craig Charlie, Romeo Alpha India Golf. Yourself.
Beautiful signal.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Thanks very much for the phone.
Well, bit of parks out on the air going on there. So anyway, if you've never seen an AR5001D, you now have. There's not a lot on the web about them as far as YouTube. I thought I'm really giving you the basic 101 of a 5001D. So much more that they can do that I'm showing you, especially if you live in an area that you can take advantage of the VHF, UHF a lot more. Just seeing where this park. Yeah, well done. No, that's good. All right. Well, look, I'll stop it there. We'll probably do another follow-up video on this one and try and tell you a bit more when I've learned a bit more. This has been sitting in the box here for since I got actually back from Indonesia, and this is the first chance I've had to even just pull it out and have a quick look at it. Look, it'll stay out of the box for a little bit, but we've got a bit of a room problem going on at the moment, and I'm just about today. I mean, this all gets revamped. This whole mess here has to be revamped because, especially the 9500 ICR 9500 coming in, beautiful receiver. Although it's funny, I've seen. This is interesting. I've actually seen a demonstration now where the AR5001D definitely outperforms. You may find this hard to believe. The Icom 9500. That demonstration absolutely blew me away. Side-by-side demonstration, and I won't go into it completely, but it proved to me 100%. And I am splitting hairs a lot here, but there is some distinct things about the AOR that Icom missed. They produced a fantastic receiver in the 9500, and we'll do a review on that very soon. But the AOR 5001D does have it beat in a couple of areas. Very interesting, especially in FM. So I'll say no more. Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. Good to have a play with this and at least get some video up on it. As I said, a few of you have been asking me, what happened to that 5001D you bought? Is it real? And I thought, yeah, good point. And whoever, if it does go to somebody else, we'll do a deal with the AOR AS5000. That's been hanging around here for years. So that's not a problem. But just let me have a play with it for now. But if you've got some interest in it, certainly talk to us. Because I think what's going to happen is as soon as my ICR 9500 turns up, because it's a big, I like the bigger radios and taking up lots of room and big knobs and things, but I got to say, if this was to stay, it's not going to be a pain to use this in any way, shape or form. It's lovely. It really is quite the modernised. Well, they're brand new. They're about $6,000 brand new, a bit under I think, so they're. You'd want that sort of quality, there's no question. But your AOR 9500, I think ICR 9500, they were 20 grand. So some of these high-end receivers, they're some serious money. There's no buying these for $500 unfortunately. But what's that other signal? Oh no, that's the thing. And then there's another signal up there. Oh, that's just that slow scan signal we're looking at. Yeah, all right. Well, this has been fun. I like the spectrum scope. It's actually quite functional. I'm able to find signals quite fast with it and say, right, okay, which is sort of what you want to be able to do with any spectrum scope. Yeah, no, that's easy to find signals. All right, 73s guys. As I said, we'll try and do something a little bit more comprehensive on it in time, especially if I can get hooked up to some VHF, UHF antennas. Not sure we're going to get a lot from here, but still would be good fun to see what we could hear. Cheers guys, all the best. VK3 Charlie Mike, Tangambulanga, Northeast Victoria.